Alright, so the next layer that we're going to add to cascading style sheets is implementing the class selector and the ID selector. And seems kind of strange because didn't you tell me that selectors are selecting HTML tags? Well, we haven't done an ID or a class selector. What are you talking about? Well, now you're going to start to see how flexible and how far-reaching our cascading style sheets can help us format a page. Before I get started, I'm going to show you a neat little trick. From our last video, you remember that we have 3 files up at the moment. We have style CSS, we have stitch, and we have the index HTML. And to go back and forth between the style sheet and the HTML tag or HTML sheet so I can change things or see what selectors I need. If I right click on style CSS, you can do it on any tab. I'm going to right click on the style CSS tab and I'm going to choose move to other view. And that allows us to open 2 windows side by side. So here you can see my 2 index pages and you can see my style page right here. If that font is too small or you like this font is too big, you can always click in that frame. I'm going to click on my control button and scroll my mouse up or down to change the font size, so it makes it easier depending on how good your vision is. Alright, so let's talk first about the ID selector. The ID selector is an additional piece of information we can add to a tag. Let's see, I think what I'm going to do to set myself up is I'm going to create a footer, and in my footer I'm going to put 2 tags. I'm going to put a P tag, and that's going to have my name. Let me make this bigger so you can see it all at once. And I'm also going to put a new line. I'm going to put another P tag, and here I'm going to put my contact information. Email markleyk@otc.edu. I'm going to use a special character. I'm going to use ampersand bull, which is a neat little character for making bullets, special character. And I'll add my Skype address, so you can always Skype me if you want. And my Skype name is the same as my email address, @otc.edu. Okay, so if I were to, I'm going to save it right here, or Control S, put it back into this frame, and if we were to load this, it's on Stitch's page. Let's go back to Stitch's page and let's reload that. Okay, so there it is. It's hard to see with the colors I have chosen. We're going to fix that. But now I have a footer set up. Okay, so now let's talk about ID. I'll make that bigger again. Contact information is probably, especially in the footer, is probably something I'm only going to have 1 per page. So the idea with ID is that this is a formatting that is only going to be utilized once on a page. That'll make more sense in just a minute, so just kind of roll with me at the moment. So at the end of my P tag, I'm going to write ID equals quote, and I think I'm going to call this particular situation or this particular ID name, it's like a variable name if you will, my info. And this should be descriptive of what you're using this ID for, and kind of clearly makes sense. This ID is being used to label, if you will, my contact information. So what this allows me to do is all the P tags, this particular line of code will get all the P tags, but if there is an ID selector in my CSS, the ID selector will override any conflicts between ID and P. I don't really understand. Okay, so I'm going to come into my style sheet and I'm going to put, now when we're using an ID, the way we identify an ID selector is with the # or hashtag, whatever you call it these days. There's lots of different names. This has to be case sensitive. So I'm going to put my info, and I'm going to put color. I'm going to put red, and I'm going to use the hex file. I showed you about that in another video. So I'm going to put the hex value of red. And I'm going to text align center. So I'm going to align center. Okay. So what I've effectively done is, prior to me putting this ID, everything that has a P tag had text color that was white. But now what will happen is, because ID is in here, the text color is going to be overridden, and this particular P will not receive the white color. It will receive the red coloring instead. So let me save both of those, and let's see if that works. So if I come in here now, sure enough, because I have an ID, so I have a special selector that I've created called ID. The idea is that ID is only going to occur, this ID, my info, is only going to occur once on this page, and it's now applying it overrode some of the information from before. In other words, the text color. It also added the text align. So I have a way to manipulate, another way to manipulate or further refine selector information I've given it prior. Okay? So let's talk about classes then. Let me go back and show that. I have multiple paragraphs on here. Oops, let's do it this way. There we go. I have multiple paragraphs on here. Some I can see and some I can't see. And they're all, again, receiving this white text color. Well, I'd really like it if this text color stayed white, and I could change all of the paragraphs in my main pages, but just not this one. But they're both P's. So let's do this. Okay. I'm going to give a class name. I'm going to start with this particular, actually let's leave the header P the same, and we'll just use the paragraphs that are in the main content. So in this paragraph, and this is the paragraph that's not in the header, so all the paragraphs that are not in the header and not in the footer, let's apply a class. Class, just like I did before with ID, class equals main paragraph. Okay, I'm going to indent that. Okay, I don't have another paragraph, so I'm going to put another one here just for example. Let's see, well, stitch is the coolest. Okay. And also let's give that one a class equals main paragraph. Oops, gotta put it in quotes. Okay. In my style sheet, similar to what we did with the ID, whenever you're referring to a class selector, you use the period. So I'm going to do period, and again, it's case sensitive, so this would be incorrect. I have a lowercase p, it won't work. I need an uppercase p so that the case matches. And let's do a color of, well, I have a pretty purple color that I looked up earlier, so E005F, oops, 5FB. There we go, that'll look great. Okay, so any paragraphs that I have now that have classes attached to it, main para, is going to receive the new formatting, the overridden formatting. Let's see that work. Okay, so save and refresh our screen, and the paragraphs that had the class main para applied to it also got the new formatting. This paragraph did not have that class name assigned, so it didn't change. This paragraph did not have a class name assigned, so it didn't change. So classes give us a way to do special or refined formatting to multiple tags. It doesn't have to just be a P tag. We could have also applied class to a div or to a footer. So a class's additional or refining information we can apply formatting to on multiple occurrences on the page, ID gives us the ability to refine or specialize tags of special formatting, but we agree that ID is only going to occur once on the page. So I don't want multiple my infos on the page, just one, but I can have a whole plethora of main para on the page. So hopefully that clears up or elaborates on ID selectors and class selectors.